Okay, good morning and thank you very much for joining us. I am Yori Folani. The Anambra election is tomorrow. It always has been tomorrow anyway. There were apprehensions about maybe it would be a difficult task, but it would be tomorrow. But then, late last night, I think good news came through. The non-state actor that the proscribed IPOB that had put out word that there was a lockdown had lifted this situation and had said that, in fact, everybody must have seen it, they've actually gone as far as saying, we therefore urge all residents to go about their lawful businesses without fear of any molestations. All agents of darkness, quoting them directly now, all agents of darkness recruited by our enemies to inflict pain on our people under the guise of enforcing the sit at home are hereby warned to steer clear or brace up for the consequences of their evil action. That's IPOB solidly behind the elections now and urging all Anambrarians to go out, vote for a person of their choice, and stand and defend their votes, and that they wouldn't tolerate any hanky-panky, that it had to be fair. Well, my guest is Razaq Olokoba, Public Affairs Analyst and Election Observer. Thanks, as always, Razaq, for coming on.
Very good. It's good to see you again.
Indeed, my pleasure.
We have not met since after the SSS.
That far back. Anyhow, it's great to have you. This is good news, exciting news, isn't it? Because even though there was determination, because we've been on Anambra throughout the week, there was determination to do what is right. You know, people have been urged to come. Now, with IPOB, the proscribed IPOB, putting out word that nobody would be molested, and it was even encouraging Anambrarians to go out and exercise their franchise. How do you see that first? Because you might have been worried too.
Yeah, there are several angles to it. This kind of challenge is peculiar, and where a section of the country is threatened not to be able to have their own election. I've tried to look at political situations around the world, and where you carve out a section of the country, the election will not hold yet. It has happened in a few places around the world, and that is happening in Nigeria. It should be a concern to all of us, that we paid attention, sufficient attention to it, and we have to do what we did to make that concession led to lifting of the siege. Is a good thing. Well, I look at it from the point of view that they want to be held responsible for what they did. There's a possibility that some people may want to lap on it to use IPOB to commit some crimes.
Which IPOB alleged?
Yes, and they saw it that you are killing your own people. You are saying don't go out. What's the penalty for not going? Is it killing? So they saw that. That's my own estimation. That they saw that. And, you know, if that begins to happen, that struggle begins to lose popularity. And this is a good election. It's not an election of a Yoruba man. It's not an election of an Hausa or Ijoma. It's an election of an Igbo man versus Igbo man. So if IPOB is not careful, they knew that the popularity they may have, because they get killed, they kill police, they are getting recruitment every day. That means it has a semblance of acceptance in the East. So, and the fear they may have is that if they continue with the pattern they have adopted, that sit at home, no election, destroy government institution, is willing to have a backlash. And people are beginning to argue that even if you are against at home Biafra, won't there be institutions? Won't there be police station? You are biting, you are not destroying anybody's property. So, and I think that is what they saw, and that's what they have decided. As far as every Nigerian is concerned, it's a big consolation to them. And I think,
but as you know, also there was the peace retired general of the Salami's organization, the peace initiative that he had led there. That also factored in. I would imagine it happened. The proscribed IPOB was talking about having listened to elders, religious leaders, traditional, rulers and institutions. And, even Ohaneze in Indigbo had, for quite a while, it had been taking heat that it, as part of the elite, had not sort of put its foot down and outrightly spoken in a forthright manner, which it defended itself about. Now, I even saw a statement by Ohaneze Indigbo that it is happy that even the agitators are all, and everybody else is now on the same page, that this is the way to progress. So it's hope rising for the election. Now, although there are those who also have said that the damage might have been done already, and that they might not hear about this because there's not that intensity of publicity that attended the earlier disruptive order. Yeah. But you know, I think news travels fast among our people. What do you think?
How did you hear about that? How did I hear about that? When it comes to situations like this, people are on red alerts, and that it came. I came back home very, very late because there were things or personal things that were doing in town. So I came back around 11 p.m. and I still saw yesterday night that IPOB has lifted that siege. So the nation has heard about this. I don't think there's anybody in the country today who is familiar with news that won't have heard about it.
Wouldn't have heard that IPOB has relented. The proscribed IPOB has relented.
Take advantage of this opening because there are other elections. And if this election has been disrupted, that's going to be a terrible instances for Nigeria. And it's going to inspire people. You know, there's no region in the country today that doesn't have its own peculiar violence going on, insecurity going on. And if the election had not gone peacefully, it's going to inspire other regions who are perpetrating one sort of insecurity or violence in the other region. So thank God that it came out this way. And we have to take advantage of that opening. Whoever worked this thing out, the government must not be far away from such an institution, organization, and individual. The government must not be far away from it. You should use that opening to quickly drag them to a table, because after war, it is jo. So the whole essence of what Biafra has been doing is to seek for the attention of the entire world.
The prescribed IPOB.
IPOB, yes. The reason why they are doing what they are doing is because they want attention. They want to drag government to the table. So this lacuna, we have to take advantage of it to ensure that peace rate in the. So whoever
after
that is
the election, since we've spoken about before, which is immediately before, during, and even after
the election. That advantage must
talking about moving forward.
Forward, yes, because there will be other elections.
There will
be other elections. The life continues after Anambra election. Election continues after Anambra election. So, just like I've said, it has ruptured the plan of somebody or institution who may be planning to use the identity of IPOB now. So it is on the security agent now to do their work. That there's no IPOB anyway for this election.
You know,
and the security must now do their job.
Of course.
The ball is in their court now. So there's no excuse that it is IPOB. They said that they are not going to come out. So whoever that comes out is just a criminal that is out to commit one crime or the other. So it is the country, it is the security that we are going to hold responsible for peace.
Yes, there are regulations, you know, necessarily for this. But the whole idea of going out to vote has now been secured. The police, as you were saying, have to do their job, the needful. I think, you know, there have been admonitions to the police that let it not be heard that, you know, you were going beyond the scope of your duty, either with excessive force. In short, they're just to behave, you know, up there like the sterling men and officers that they can be and that they get credit for in alternative circumstances. That is going to have to come to the fore. The police is detached in all of this and just wants to ensure that the rights of the people. And all of this is in keeping with President Buhari, you know, saying earlier that everybody needs to be on board to make sure that the Anambra election, nothing touches it.
It should be a business of every Nigerian because
it is. It has been.
The coloration that is coming, the pattern that is coming, is a wave. And that wave may spread to the rest of the country. It's going to inspire. So that we're able to stop it is a good thing. You know that there may be political institutions that may not be happy with this election. Maybe he has lost the primary and he may want to wear IPOB garment to come and come. So that has been defeated
IPOB, now. Proscribed IPOB has actually said as much.
So that has been defeated. So the intelligence network of NC, the civil defense, the police, the DSS must be sharpened now. They must work on their intelligence to ensure that between today and tomorrow they should wrap up all that form of insecurity in Anambra State. People may want to take advantage of it.
Well, let's see how it goes, because for long we've been hearing by all the concerned parties, the actors, the security police, INEC, that we're ready. We're ready, we're on ground.
Given the number of men that's been posted to that to Anambra, I don't think anybody would risk his life by trying to foment any trouble. Okay. I don't think so.
I think we can now actually go over to Anambra, where we can speak with Mr. Godbless Otubure, that is Global President, Ready to Lead Africa. Good morning to you, sir. If you can hear me.
Good morning.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, good morning, Uncle Yori Falari.
Good morning, sir.
Thank you. On your set.
Thank you very much for making time for us. Well, we're a bit, quite frankly, excited at the news that there's a veil of apprehension would appear to have been lifted now that the proscribed IPOB has said that it is now every inch for the election, and has actually admonished Anambrarians to go out there, not just vote, but also monitor their vote and just vote for a person of their choice. The proscribed IPOB actually saying things like, it must be seen to be free, fair, and secure. Your reaction?
When the news broke yesterday, we were absolutely excited just after the signing of the peace accord. And of course, it is not devoid of on-the-ground conversations that were also happening, led by top Anambarians and the key stakeholders that were also engaging with the IPOB. And just after the signing of the peace accord, as we were all, and then the meeting with the Commissioner of Police and the DIG by members of the civil society community, as we all went back to our various hotels and our places where we were staying, we got the news that IPOB had, canceled their initial request for Anambarians to sit at home today. So that literally doused the tension and helped us to move forward in the work of mobilizing and organizing for the election. So yeah, on the ground, we see that the tension is no longer as palpable as it was yesterday. We see a lot more activities picking up, but of course, just as you have with every order, there's still people who probably haven't yet gotten the new information. So we see people still trying to observe that.
Okay, but I was going to ask you
order, but
I was going to ask you about that. I was going to ask you about that. What's your assessment? Because I have heard it said that. Well, first of all, my concept is, it's never too late. Better late than never. But some are saying that, look, maybe it's a bit too late in the day. The news has already gone round that proscribed IPOB is saying stay at home. And I had the impression that news travels fast among our people, and that those concerns, I really wouldn't put too much on them. But how do you see it? This new order that every last person, whether you have digital internet connection or not, surely it won't be too hard for the news to get to all the markets and all the farms that proscribed IPOB has relented.
That's actually the big issue on everybody's minds right now. Coming to the studio this morning, I saw, the markets are not as open as you would ordinarily see, but movement is picking up because there are a lot of people who are not on Facebook or not on Twitter who didn't get the information, right? Because as of yesterday, just before the information was released, there were a lot of people who were already planning to sit at home today. And that has been the problem. So the channels for engaging with Anambrians, I think what IPOB needs to do now is to double down on that particular information to say, look, Anambrians, you can go ahead, participate in the process, go about your business, get ready to vote tomorrow. I think we just need to do more of telling Anambarians that there is no more sit at home or
no more
looking
tension
down the southeast. You can go about your business.
Let me ask you, because of the situation in Anambra, southeast in particular, but in Anambra, before this lifting a bit of the apprehension and tension, the politicians weren't able to go out and campaign, do their business, sell their wares, so to speak, to the minds of the people. Yet we must go tomorrow into this election. Give me your assessment of the impact this would have, because it would mean that by the time we go there tomorrow, people must have known who they're going to be voting for without the benefit of hearing from them in the campaign grounds. How much of what do you think this is going to? How much do you think this is going to affect how people vote, or knowing who to vote for, that kind of a thing? What's your assessment?
I mean, if we look at some of the preliminary reports that a lot of us, our institutions have released, is one of, we fear that there may be some level of high voter apathy because, of course, leading up to the elections, we saw a lot of candidates did not really campaign as they should. A lot of campaigns were just focused on social media and using traditional means. Nevertheless, campaigns happened within the traditional, you know how closely knitted the Igbo community and the Igbo race is. So even though there were no outward, overt campaigns happening, like rallies and all of that, of course, because of the security situation, there were still campaigns happening, but not as loud.
Okay.
Nevertheless, the report that we have, looking at the data and looking at some of the indices that we're using to gauge whether we're going to see high turnout or not, we fear that there may be a great level of apathy. And for the candidates who were able to use alternative channels to reach people, those are the people that we believe will be able to get a lot of votes on Saturday.
Okay.
For us, we think it was a big issue. We think it will affect the overall outcome of the election. But tomorrow we're just going to see, because if we look at what has happened within the last 2 days, there's been uptick in the level of campaigns and rallies. And of course, now that IPOB has said, no, come on, everybody go out and do your stuff, a lot of people are going to take the opportunity to talk to their mobilizers within the communities and the 21 local governments spread across Anambra State today.
Okay.
For me, I just think with all our poll clerks scattered across the local governments and everyone watching, let's see what the results look like tomorrow.
Indeed. Let me bring it to Razaq Olokoba in studio here. Because you're an election observer, how would you relate to that question of not having been able to fully campaign? We hear from people we've spoken to in Anambra that the politicians we've spoken to, that they're doing door-to-door campaigns, and as you just heard, social media has also heard. Do you think it's going to affect the minds of the people in terms of helping them make up their mind who to cast their vote for, or they must arrive tomorrow with their minds already made up?
With full-fledged campaign, remember we still record large voters apathy in the south. If you look at the numbers of registered voters in Nigeria today, it's over 80 million. The state who has the highest registered voter is Lagos State. The region with the highest registered voter is the southwest. The northwest. And the region who has the least registered voter are the southeast, looking at the record of INEC. So that tells you that even without the IPOB, there's a voter effort, and it's going to double now. Despite their assurance that people may be given, there are people who will not still come out.
Okay.
That this news about IPOB is to lure us out and descend on us.
Well, on that point, we have something that the police put out on this particular point. Let's check that out and then come back to our studio.
I want to assure you all that we are going to maintain neutrality equality. We are going to provide a level playing ground for all political parties to participate in this election. And I want to assure you that adequate security will be provided. For those of you who have been in town for the past few days, you have seen what we are doing. You have seen the observers, both national and international. So basically, it is going to be a hitch-free exercise by the grace of Almighty God.
The people that are most affected in an insecurity situation are persons with disability. And that's why I made sure that I was in the peace accord, just to make that statement loud and clear that peace is necessary, and the community of persons with disability wants that peace more than any other person.
It was good to observe that INEC took the lead to work very closely with security agencies, different security agencies, to ensure that deployment of security people is well organized. And
okay, so a clip there from a report that went out earlier. The police putting in place vehicular restrictions from 12 midnight today till the same time the day following, Saturday. So
that's the standard in Nigeria.
Yes, exactly.
That's sustained. What we need, all of us need to do now, because it should be a concern. The Anambra situation is not just to win and lose the election. It's not just to have a governor. It's about what is going on in Nigeria. It's about how to defeat insecurity in Nigeria. So all of us must play a role. Since I've heard about this yesterday, I've been tweeting, I've been sending, working on my social media, that the IPOB, the banned organization, has said that they have lifted the siege and people should go out and exercise their France. So the legitimate institutions who are responsible for disseminating information that belongs to government, like NTA, should keep repeating. The NOA should start working, the Voice of Nigeria should start working, and all other means of disseminating information to encourage people. Whatever the police will do, the army or all the agencies that are responsible for providing security should make sure that they give people the assurance. They should use all their network, use their auxiliaries, use their intelligence report to disseminate this information, so that for once you will know that a regular activity emerged tomorrow. Because since this siege, you will notice that in the southeast, low-scale war has been going on, and that Saturday may eventually be a free day for people of Anambra State to walk freely, to live their life the way they have been living their life normally. So it's our duty as a nation to make sure that tomorrow is a success. Okay.
Good morning, Mr. Joshua in Iriwalide. I think I can hear that we just lost him. I'm so sorry about that, Mr. Joshua, our regular from Iriwalide. No doubt, first of all, the topic is Anambra, but he might have wanted to say something about IPOB. So there's this whole question about, well, and we're also trying to reconnect with Godbless Otubure, which we'll probably be able to do. But it is your estimation that, look, because even without all of this problem, our politics correspondent was telling us yesterday that people have not really come out en masse, even though the proscribed IPOB was using that terminology. So people should come out en masse and vote.
And vote, yeah.
Yes. So, well, if people have been used to listening to this non-state actor, this might, you know, in a way, sort of help the whole effort by, oh, okay, for whatever reason we prefer to listen to these people, and they are saying this. Let's go ahead and do it, because I don't think the proscribed IPOB would have said it if it didn't mean it. It would probably maintain its silence.
Because you know that the people that normally come out for election is because people we ignited the political morale of the people, and that was impossible because there was no campaign. Do you get my point? The morale of the people is ignited when election through campaign, and that was missing out.
And that was
so
missing.
There's no how it's not going to affect it.
Okay,
no matter how it turns out to be.
I beg your pardon for interrupting you.
Okay.
We'll continue when we come back. I've got to quickly go
problem.
off on a break now. Stay with us, please. We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back, and thanks for joining us. If you've just arrived, this is like the half halfway point of the program. We're looking at the Anambra election. We've been hearing all week that everything is, right there prepared. We've heard from INEC, the security, and then late last night, the proscribed IPOB also threw its weight behind the election. And before then, it had been a situation where it had put out, a kind of order that they've been, grappling with in those parts for a bit, that everybody should just sit down. There's a lockdown and don't come out, at risk of, your own peril, personal injury. Now that same proscribed IPOB has said people should come out en masse and perform their civic duty and indeed stay to guard their vote, and have added that the election must be seen to be free and fair. So we were looking at that, and also whether it's a bit too late, and we were talking about that particular point. In any case, people who have studied these things know that Anambra is not one of the states where there's been a mass outpouring of voters on election day, not to mention when there was some sort of attention in the air. But even though this is good news, you wouldn't be surprised if the numbers were moderate.
Yeah, like I said, that there are developments that are actually supposed to take place if things are gone on normally. There will be campaign. More than half of the regulars of the civil society on election observers couldn't go. There was no clearance. Because if you have to go there has to be discussion between you and INEC.
Yes.
INEC will do their own training. We will go to town to do our own advocacy. We will support INEC in ensuring that people come out to vote and talk to political parties that on their conduct too as a civil society. We interfere between INEC and political parties. More than half of us couldn't make it because there was no clearance. People who went there because this just felt like that's part of their civic responsibility. So that's number one. Then the members there also, they are supposed to be galvanized. People were supposed to be galvanized. People were supposed to be aroused by the talks, that promises, by the manifestos of each political party that and that's how elections are done. It's a festival where the Ori will say that I'm bringing bread and butter to the table for the people. I'll say, no, I can't bring bread and butter, but I can assure you that your life will be safe. I'll do so. Another party will say his own thing. And on that note, the people will come out to say that, okay, if that is the case, then your candidate, you will meet your candidate. Oh, this is the person I'm going to vote for. This is the manifesto. There will be TV talk. There will be a town hall meeting. There will be all sorts of at local levels, at ward levels. So that has been prevented, and it's going to rub off on the election today. So, but because people want to have their own state back, that may be the inspiration. Let's just lap on that. That the fact that they said that there can be election, because indigenous of Anambra, the depression they may be going through since the election day has been announced, that why will other states have governor and we won't have governor? Are we going to have sole administrator? Is it so that may be the inspiration that may bring people out, and we have to lap on that. The little advocacy that the NOA government agencies have to inspire people to come out, that you must have your own governor.
Okay.
And this is,
let me bring that to Godbless, with the point you made.
Yours too.
Yes, let me bring that point to Godbless Otubure, who we've been able to connect up with, again, our global president ready to lead Africa. The depression that, Razaq Olokoba said might have been experienced, that will lift, because people want their freedom. They want to move about, and here they've been given a pass. I imagine people are going to look. The proscribed IPOB made the point that they are aware of the damage that their hitherto order was, creating. People can't go about their businesses, and so they were like distancing themselves from such attitudes, such uncaring attitudes. So it looks like there's a sort of a rapprochement now between the proscribed IPOB and the people themselves, and all of this should just be good for tomorrow's event.
I mean, yes, absolutely. It's for the good of tomorrow's event, because if you dial back a few seconds to what our Mr. Razaq in the studio has said, is if every other state has a governor and what you have is a sole administrator appointed by people from outside Anambra, where you had an opportunity to elect your own governor, it's not going to be good for your people. I mean, we all understand that everyone in a democracy, people have rights to, say what they want and, be heard and be listened to. Agitations can happen. But it goes through a process. And that is what everyone is coming to realize, that if you destroy your own community, you're going to have ruins and debris to pack. I think there's an African proverb that says, he who destroys his father's house only has debris and ruins to inherit.
Indeed.
So what has happened is a re-examination of where we are as a people, and the idea that if we have an opportunity to elect who we believe would advance our cause and speak for us, why don't we take that rather than say people should not exercise their human rights and their fundamental franchise? So I just think that that is what has happened. And we believe that tomorrow's elections would happen and Anambarians would vote. I'm calling on every young person, just like we did yesterday when we also signed the youth-led peace accord, Youth Against Electoral Violence Accord, just as the older generation was signing the National Peace Accord. We just want to tell every young person, look, your future is at stake. If you don't come out to vote, older people will go out to vote and they will vote for their people, and you will not have the right to complain for the next 4 years. So to the older generation, we're saying thank you for also holding forth, and we believe that everybody will have the opportunity to vote tomorrow.
Okay then. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Godbless Otubure, Global President, ready to lead Africa, for making time for us this morning. That's a fine place to leave it. I'm sure all of Nigeria wishes Anambra luck tomorrow.
Thank you so much for having me.
Our pleasure. Okay, so, well, I mean, one can't but be excited, even as I understand the caution. I understand the caution because it's been quite traumatic. Even as we are speaking, there have been fatalities in the course of this agitation. And even if it is one, it is still one too many. So, but at least it's like the people, and by extension, we in Nigeria, we've been cut some slack by this turn of events. Because you are making the point about, look, this doesn't happen to Anambra, and you see it's a watertight compartment, it's only in Anambra. It could flow.
Of course.
Which nobody wants.
I know that for every governor, 1,000 beneficiaries attached to him. 10,000 beneficiaries attached to him if it's a state like Lagos. So it depends on the state that you come from. And all these beneficiaries of any governor that will emerge, if you have 10 contestants, that means that 10,000 beneficiaries will be open to have a direct benefit from the governor. That means you have 100,000 people. So no matter how enticing the agitation of IPOB might be, this is going to be a challenge to it. And the feeling they got is that our people who want to vote, our people who are saying that they like what you are doing, they want to vote. And as a smart people, they got that message from the people that there are people that, no, you must vote. Even if you want, just vote. This is Nigeria first. Even if you want to.
That's why they referenced elders, religious leaders, institutions.
Yes.
All of these people. Okay, we listen to what they're saying.
Yeah, it's not other states that won't have governor. It's Anambra that won't have governor. So, and somebody will preside over your allocation. Somebody will preside over the principle that the program of Anambra State that all of you talk to people that we are going to promote. If it is about roads, it's about economy, if it is about educational program that you are for the people, somebody will come and preside over it. And that's the message they got, that no, okay, is that the danger in it? So the people also got the danger, and they start, it start flowing until it get to the prescribed IPOB that no, okay, this is the disadvantage of not allowing our people to vote. The direct beneficiary of the loss will be our own people. So there must be election. And Plateau, they took Oluni to Plateau. Oluni is a Yoruba man. He's not a tank man. They took him to governor of no, it was a Kogi or Plateau that time. So by indication, if there's no election, definitely there will be a sole administrator.
Things won't be the way they should be.
So they got the message that no, we must have a governor. No matter how the situation might be, our struggle might continue and things like that, but we must have an election. Particularly, maybe your friend is planning to become a commissioner there, and he's saying that no, I like, I want to have, but this commissionership position, let's have it first. So those are, and that's the challenge, that's the setback that people have. That's the problem that the struggle for an ideology always face most of the time. That when it gets to a point, when people's personal interest comes in, they may jettison it.
Okay,
Church
because it now begins to affect people personally.
Yeah, I read somewhere, Church Hill was going for an interview, he hired a taxi, and the taxi said, I can't wait for you, I want to listen to Church Hill dashed him on the path and said, to hell with. So it became a personal interest. It jettisoned the speech and said, so when it becomes personal interest, and this is personal to the people of Anambra, so they may be that, they should be that vote. So, and you may be surprised. This may be one of the most populous votes in the Southeast in the
anything could happen.
Because the freedom.
Anything could happen.
Freedom comes in several ways.
Yes.
People might on this count of the fact that people have been asked to go out to vote. This freedom, people are looking for it.
Indeed.
So you got it suddenly.
Yeah.
And it's people may come out.
And part of the instruments.
I must brace up for it.
Indeed.
The security agent must brace up for it. The political parties and INEC must also brace up for it. Allow the material to arrive on time. Logistics must be in place. And agents, your agent should be there on time. Political parties should speak to your agent that they should be there on time. And the elections should just hold.
It will hold, and whereas people talk about, especially the political speak part of it, about, people talk about front runners, but actually there are about, 18, 19 parties, that actually will be participating in this election. So it's a full field, and one really, it's like people say sometimes you can't predict football. Maybe you can't predict all elections as well, So it'll be interesting to see how it goes.
Like my colleague have said,
God's power.
Said God bless. Someone used another alternative form of campaign, and it's more the potency. People got the potency right. It might not be the popular party. Exactly. By just one of the parties.
Because one of the devices that we were told directly by the contestants, some of the contestants that we were able to speak with, is that they might not be able to hold these rallies where you get 2,000 people or whatever is the number of get, but that they're doing quiet door-to-door campaigning, and they're doing that consistently, sometimes traveling one local council every day. So people seeing the situation, the lie of the ground, would have come up with alternative means of communication.
So the assumption might be that elaborate campaign, since it didn't hold, there's no campaigns. And that might be a wrong assumption. Flowing from what you have said, that campaign took place. Yeah. It just didn't took place in the normal sense of a campaign of bogus platform, people talking, making promises. So it took place.
Well, you call it bogus, but you also said rightly that it's something of a fiesta, elections around the world.
Yeah, I'm just using it as a description that bogus campaign we normally have didn't take place. Okay. Shouldn't be a conclusion that campaign never took place. So it took place, like from what you have said. And we might be shocked who might take the trophy this time around. It's just like I said.
Yes, you can't always predict, and the whole principle of it is that it is the people of Anambra out there that are waiting to appoint by their vote who their next leader should be.
Yeah. So like I said, that the picture of 2023 in the Southeast, we are getting it now, and every stakeholder, and that's why every stakeholder has to take part in it, because the tempo and the rate at which this group is going by 2023, because the question is, where is the supply line for IPOB? So there's an indication that is it popular? Is it a popular organization? With the way the security agents are descending on them, and they still get so my fear is that if we continue this till 2023, so that this now happen is a big consolation, and we have to magnify their disadvantage and make sure that the source of what led to this peace accord should be we have to lap on it to ensure that peace reign in the entire southeast. Nigeria is battling with 6 major levels of insecurity that a country has one, and is in shambles. So we have to do everything to make sure that we have our own country back. We have to make sure we do everything to have our own region back. Whatever it's going to take to make sure that this whole insecurity in the rest of the country is a thing of history. What Absalom has done, I don't know his role, but he came out to say that peace should reign. If he is the captain of this effort, I want him to continue, and not limited to the southeast. He should also extend it to in the northeast. It might appear to be the center of a peak of insecurity in Nigeria, okay, and the southwest and the entire Nigeria.
Okay, let me take Ada from Jos. Good morning, Ada.
Good morning. The light has been so like Ada from Jos. We don't want your guest.
Okay.
Thank God for our prayers. Has been honestly. I'm so delighted with the pronunciation. They've been campaigning on the ground. The problem they need is not a lot from IPOB, even though they are perfect. They are so effective. People trust them, you know. You will see what will happen. That election, people are going to come out. And then shame on to the political IPOB. We have a political IPOB, Yori, owned by partisan political actors. So they should not bury their heads in
IPOB.
Let them look for another subject. God bless Nigeria. Let's not give up on this country. That election we hold in peace.
Indeed.
I think.
Thank you very much for calling in, Ada, with your enthusiasm. She's calling from Jos.
You know, that's what we were saying.
Like every Nigerian, all eyes are on Anambra.
Yes, and she said that there's a political IPOB.
She said there's a political IPOB. The proscribed IPOB itself, said that people are hiding under the garb of its name, and that it won't stand for it.
Even the death of Dr. or Professor Akuyuli, they said they distance themselves from me, that they are not responsible for it. If that is true or not, we may not know. We are not into that. But we may just borrow from that to analyze what is on ground, that there are things that they are not responsible for. And that
okay,
election,
Mr. Joshua is back again.
Okay.
Thank you for calling in again, Mr. Joshua.
Hello.
Hello, we can hear you. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Uncle Yuli. Not Joshua. My name is Akalaka.
Sorry, I beg your pardon.
Akalaka.
Good morning. Good morning, Chief.
How are you today, brother?
Very well, thank you. Where are you calling from? Lagos or Anambra?
I'm calling from Abuja right now.
Abuja.
I was in Anambra 2 weeks ago.
Okay. Go ahead now, please.
As a matter of fact, I told you in the previous time that there must be an election.
Yes.
It's my home state that I told you I know every Italian of that very place, no matter what. All right? Even Mr. Razaq, I greet you too, because we are all colleagues at the civil society.
Thank you very much.
Having said this, let me put you longer, Mr. Razaq. They have been campaigning, like Soludo, they have been campaigning. Even Dikola, the man of Labour Party, they have been campaigning. Someone like Valentine Ozibo, even the man called Andy Obatu, they have been campaigning too. But having said this, I'm also advising even some of the young guys around here, over the time when they've been saying there will be election, that just like what you alluded to, you have to have Biafra. If you destroy police station and all that, what will you use to run your cat, even if it's given to you? You understand? But with all things being equal, I will shockingly say that tomorrow we shall witness something different in Anambra.
Indeed.
To God be the glory that we shall go on tomorrow.
Indeed. Thank you very much, Chief. Thank you very, very much, Chief. Akaraka, calling this time from Abuja. He could have been calling from Anambra. He could have been calling from Lagos. He's a man of many places, but you could also hear the enthusiasm in his voice. And I imagine the number of elders up and down the land.
A big consolation.
Yeah. And, proscribed IPOB said it listens to people like them. Elders, traditional rulers, religious leaders, and all of this. So there's a sense in which even the proscribed IPOB is actually battling for the equivalent of eyeballs of the people of Anambra, and they don't want to lose them.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. Could I speak with Reverend Dominic? Good morning, Reverend. Are you there?
Yeah, good morning. The network has been bad.
Oh,
good morning, Razaq. How are you today?
Dominic, how are you there? How is everything?
Fine. Sorry, it's not too good yet.
Okay.
So listen to me. I would like you to put me on record. For over 2-3 months, the IPOB has proscribed sit at home on Monday. They said they will sit at home any day the leader is going to court. But because of the fear, their militant soldiers or militant have put on people, kill people that came out, kill transport companies that carry people from Aba to Lagos. They create that fear. And let me tell you this. The statement they have put up last night should be not taken by anybody as if anything happened. The security thing must be at the light. Because anything that happened now, they say we said it. Listen to me. Tomorrow election, your correspondent is nowhere. I mean, in Anambra State, you will give you first-hand information. People will be so scared to come out. Because if you kill anybody, nobody stands for anybody.
Yeah, but we're hoping for the best. Reverend Dominic, we're hoping to make the best of this opportunity.
But we are hoping the best. Let our security be at the best. We have shed too many blood in this nation carelessly. You know what I'm trying to say? Listen to me, Jory. Listen. Can you listen to me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Let me say. Now listen. If these people listen to Nigerian government organizations, it is now that Radio Nigeria, like Razaq said, all the instruments of information should go out. But unfortunately, every information from government circle is lies. It's only one that comes from IPOB that is true. That's unfortunately of our story. So what I'm trying to say, it is now the security agents must be on their best to know that they must be at their best to protect people. Number 3, the IPOB military group are no more effective. What is effective in South Street armed robbers who have hijacked that movement, who have taken over that movement. IPOB is no more in charge. Put me right. It's this criminal element, the armed robbers and the politicians, they are not causing havoc.
Okay.
In the name of IPOB.
Well, I hear you, Reverend. We've run out of time. Thank you very much for calling in. And I dare say that part of the issues that Reverend Dominic addressed, IPOB itself in its statement put it out too. That there are all sorts of pretender, you know, and that they were not going to stand for it. And so there's a sense in which INEC, the proscribed IPOB itself has now become part of the security.
Yes.
So nobody can just come and start to be militant in their name. They're going to have to try and sort all of these things out. So as I was saying to Reverend Dominic, and I imagine to most of our viewers, yeah, one has to still be cautious, but you know, people are going to want to make the best of this. We can't afford to lose this opportunity.
Well, whatever we can do, all of us, to make sure that tomorrow is a success.
Indeed.
We need to do it.
I think that's a fine place to leave it. Thank you very much, Razaq Olokoba.
It's a pleasure being with you.
Public Affairs Analyst and Election Observer, who unfortunately couldn't go to Anambra because there wasn't any clearance, you know. And also to Godbless Otubure, Global President ready to lead Africa that we spoke with earlier. And indeed to you out there that also called in. Of course, TVC News is going to be on Anambra and other matters, but Anambra in particular throughout today and right into tomorrow. We don't do weekends, so the next time we'll be seeing, God willing, will be Monday. Do have a great weekend. I am Yori Folani. Bye-bye for now.